Hello, everybody, and welcome to the pop culture news here on The Experience. Now, we got a lot going on today, so let's jump right in. Now, even though Jeremy Renner has fully recovered from his horrific snowplow accident of Christmas, New Year's of late last year, um, he's not 100% yet. Now, he's gone back to working on The Mayor of Kingstown for the third season, and he's not really being able to get fully back into the speed that he used to be. He says, they go and action, and I was out. We realized they worked me so hard, too many hours, too many days in a row. What I'm willing to do is everything, but what I'm able to do is different. They have to treat me like they treat a child actor. The mayor of Kingstown is now like 14 years old. Now, he talks about returning to the physicality of acting and how this was something he really had to think about. He said, to try to create some truth and then get that audience to believe it, while I'm just trying to learn to walk again, to put one foot in front of the other and not get up in agony, I'm doing all these things to find my footing on the planet again. The idea of going into a fictional world, I have to be honest with you, I had to really consider, is this something I really want to do? Now, the producers are trying to compensate, and they are, changing the filming schedule, not to put him on as much as possible, giving him breaks to stretch and stuff like that. But Renner did go back to work with a great attitude. He says, I'm alive. I'm walking through life with a smile on my face, and there's nothing that's ever going to change that. Nothing. It's impossible for me to have a bad day. Now, with Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth is jumping into another existing franchise after having made a name for himself with Thor. But how different is it working with George Miller and the folks over there than when he works on an MCU film? Well, he says it's like what Kevin Feige has to those films, a depth of knowledge and importance of it all. It feels very familiar. There's nothing accidental on screen. It has a purpose or needs a purpose. He said, now this alone, this is also his first chance to play a villain. But Hemsworth had his own approach to that too, saying, I wanted there to be some humanity in him. I didn't want to see him as a villain. He's a survivor. He's doing his best to make it through the next 24 hours like anyone else is. He's a product of the wasteland. He's trying to protect his tribe. Now, the latest Mad Max Universe film played at Cannes this past weekend and had the longest standing ovation of any film, which seems to be how they judge things over there. I guess the longer you decide to stand on your feet for a movie, the more you like it. All right. Check this out. One of the best moments from the 2024 Academy Awards, and you'll remember this, is when Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger walked out. And of course, everybody's looking at them going, oh, it's twins. Oh, it's Junior, the reunion. Yay. And the first thing Danny DeVito says is, the reason we're both out here is because we both tried to kill Batman. And they did a kind of a spoof with that, and it tied into Michael Keaton being in the audience. It was probably one of the best moments, literally, from the Academy Awards in a long time, let alone just that episode. But recently, Danny DeVito was at the red carpet for The Pool Man, Chris Pine's film. And they asked about him and Schwarzenegger working together again. And he said, we really want to work together. And we've been talking about it for quite a while. We're on to something now. We have a script being written. As soon as it comes in, we'll know better. But we'll do it at Warner Brothers. So, we already know which studio it is, at least. Now, he didn't go into details on it. But this is, this could be something new, or it could be a sequel to Twins or Junior. But they had previously discussed a sequel to Twins. But of course, with the passing of Ivan Reitman, the director, Danny said, when we lost Ivan, rest his soul, we were about to work with him again on a sequel for Twins. I think where my head is, and I think Arnold's is the same spot. We want to work together. We want to do another movie together where it's a sequel or a new element that's another story. Just has to be good, funny, entertaining for us, that fits with our characters and what people want to see. And that's what we're aiming for. So looks like we'll get, at least it's in the works of getting DeVito and Schwarzenegger back together. One of the narratives online that has been just driving me crazy is that there's a lot of hatred and stuff going towards James Gunn because Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. But a story has come out that kind of sheds a little more light on the whole timeline of how Gunn came in to take over and how it may be more of exactly how he says and less about him going, I don't want to work with Henry Cavill, which is what people are accusing him of. So what it is there's part of the online community blames the Guardians director, but it didn't quite work that way. When Gunn was brought over to Warner Brothers by Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdy are running the rest of Warner Brothers, where Gunn and Peter Safran are now running DC. They had their eye on him to do a standalone Superman movie. So he came over, he did the Suicide Squad, they really liked it, and they started talking to him about doing a standalone Superman movie in the same way Matt Reeves did the Batman and Todd Phillips did the Joker. So from the get, there was always the idea that Gunn's movie would have a new Superman. It wasn't going to use Henry Cavill. So Gunn said that, that's he never came into this thinking he wanted to take over DC Studios, any of that. And that pans out according to this. So it's like I said, it's always supposed to be a different actor. Cavill only came back because Dwayne Johnson insisted on it for the Black Adam movie. And at the time, they thought it was going to be a big blockbuster, and they kind of gave in to a lot of Johnson's ideas. And had the film succeeded, the DCEU probably would have kept going in some form. But after its lackluster performance, David Zaslav, the new head of Warner Brothers Discovery at that point, decided they were done with the DCEU. And they started talking to different people about coming in and being their Kevin Feige. Because Zaslav has said from the beginning that he thinks Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are the hinge pin of Warner Brothers, that they're the big money makers, and he really wants that to succeed. So he wanted to find his own Kevin Feige. And they approached Peter Safran, and Peter is like, look, I am happy to do the business stuff, but I don't do the creative side. So he wanted a partner. He went to James Gunn, who everybody was liking his ideas on the Superman and what he had done with Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. So he got brought in. So bottom line is, Gunn was creating a new take on the standalone Superman when he was asked to extend to cover the whole universe of characters. This was all confirmed by Gunn on social media in a tweet that that's just how it planned out. So basically, Warner Brothers was already moving on from Henry Cavill. And Gunn's movie was never supposed to be for Cavill. It was never going to be Man of Steel 2. So maybe just get a little bit off of Gunn's back and wait and see what actually ends up the movie being, just an idea. So we have some news on Marvel Animation. With the recent success of X-Men 97, all eyes are, of course, waiting to see what's going to come next. Comic Book spoke with Brad Winderbaum, Marvel's head of animation, television, and streaming. And he talked about the upcoming Eyes of Wakanda series that is going to be connected to the MCU and connected to the Black Panther franchise, basically. Eyes of Wakanda is an MCU show, he says. This is the history of Wakanda as told through the War Dogs, and it is some of the best animation we've ever done. Todd Harris is the creator of that one. This just such a cool show. Now, while it was originally scheduled to be released in 2024, Winderbaum said that we're more likely to get What If Season 3 before this or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which used to be Spider-Man First Class. So don't expect it this year. Don't expect either of those this year. Just What If maybe the only thing we get this year if we get anything. animation-wise. There has been unconfirmed rumors that the series will take place in various eras, and that's kind of, it's unconfirmed, but it's been pretty much the narrative that it's going to show Black Panthers through history, through the eyes of the War Dogs. But there's also a report that has a previous wielder of the Iron Fist showing up, possibly Wu Aoshi, the pirate queen of the Penghai Bay, who lived in 1545 AD. And she was mentioned as a distant ancestor of Colleen Wing in the Iron Fist series on Netflix. So since they are seeming to want to connect all the shows together again, this would make a lot of sense. So, okay, those of you who think or have been looking forward to the Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, the documentary from Ian Bonhoit and Peter Edegui, tough names, which premiered to critical acclaim at this year's Sundance Festival. Well, it's got a release date, finally. It's going to be in select U.S. theaters. This is through DC Studios and Fathom Events. So it's going to be one of those Fathom Events thing. And there's 2 dates coming up. There's September 21st will be the premiere date, and then it'll be encored on Christopher Reeve's birthday, September 25th. So if you're looking to, this is one of those event things where they play for one night, or in this case, 2 nights. You got to see it that night. So plan ahead if you want to see this documentary about Christopher Reeves. Okay. Did you guys watch Saturday Night Live? You may have seen one of the jokes during Weekend Update was written by Che, but performed by Colin Jost, about Scarlett Johansson's voice being an AI. Well, it turns out that that's not supposed to be Johansson. OpenAI is pulling that particular voice that users have been comparing to Johansson, but they insist that it's not an imitation and it's not supposed to be her. And they of course support the creative community. The company detailed its rationale in a blog on Monday, saying the voice of Sky, one of the 5 interactive voices introduced last fall, sampled that of a real voice actor. The company has not disclosed the identity of the actors whose voices served as the foundation of ChatGPT features, citing privacy concerns. But they said, we support the creative community and worked closely with the voice acting industry to ensure we took the right steps to cast ChatGPT voices. Each actor received compensation above top market rates, and this will continue for as long as their voices are used in our products. AI voices, OpenAI asserted, should not deliberately mimic a celebrity distinct voice. Sky's voice is not an imitation of Scarlett Johansson, but belongs to a different professional actress using her own natural speaking voice. Do we believe them? I don't know. I just read the news. All right. And one more news story for you before we get out of here. Netflix has announced, and this will be big for producer Kyle, Netflix has routed out The Endless for Sandman Season 2. Esme Creed Miles from Hannah has been cast as Delirium. Adrian Lester from Renegade Nell is going to be playing Destiny. And Barry Sloan of The Bay will be playing the Prodigal. The 3 join, of course, Tom Sturridge, who plays Dream, Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who now just goes by Kirby, as Death, and Mason Alexander Park as Desire, and of course Donna Preston as Despair, who will all be returning from Season 1. Now, both Kirby and Preston reprised their roles in the recent Dead Boy Detective series, which is a technical spin-off of The Sandman, and also on Netflix. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's the news. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember to stick around for Minute to Skim It, where Jen and Kyle and Jay review this week's new comics, and then spend your late night with Henri Combin. Have a great day.